In this last section, we're going to be visualizing our data. So the first thing I'm going to do is import Seaborn, and then I'm going to create a pair plot. But then you see this asterisk here means that this pair plot is taking a really long time to run. So if I look at this pair plot, I see that these last 3 columns aren't giving me that much information. So I'm going to exclude these last 3 columns and create a pair plot on the rest of my data. And now if I do that, I can exclude the last 3 columns. And if I run that, you see that I have a smaller pair plot here to work with and look into. So one of the first things I see is these 2 fields seem to be highly correlated. Now this is tomato meter rating and audience rating. Okay, that makes sense. So as a critic rating goes up, the audience rating goes up. Now, one thing that I see from here is that the audience rating tends to range from about this second tick all the way to the end, whereas the critic ratings range this entire axis here. So that's telling me that critics tend to give a wide range of ratings, where audiences are much nicer and they give a slightly higher range of ratings. Another thing that's kind of interesting is that I see some correlation here. So in this plot, this is telling me my runtime is correlated with the number of critic ratings. So that seems a little bit unusual to me, but it seems like the longer a movie is, the more critic ratings there are. That doesn't immediately make sense to me, but it's interesting enough that it's something I would want to dig into further. And another thing I noticed that seems to be unusual is this outlier here. Now this outlier is in my audience count, and it seems like there is one movie that's rated much, much more than all the other movies. So let's look into that movie. So I'm going to look at audience counts that are greater than 1 million. And I got that 1 million because this is my 1 million mark. So you can see it's 1, and then I'm adding on 6 zeros. And if I run this, you see that these are the movies that have a ton of audience ratings. And that extreme one is Shutter Island that has 2 million ratings. This is so extreme that I would say it could potentially be an error, or maybe there's something about Shutter Island that people just loved, and so there are a lot of reviews. And that's something that, again, I would have to look into. If I'm modeling, I would likely remove this row of data from my modeling to not skew my results. But if I'm looking for insights, this is a really interesting one, and one that I would want to probably look into to confirm that it makes sense and then share with my audience. And that is your mid-course project solution walkthrough.